Jovial Josh. Whenever I see Jovial Josh, our dear friend, I think of Dario Argento, and I mean that in a positive way because I love your Dario Argento journey. And so you say, "Hi Daisuke, what are some of your biggest guilty pleasure films? I have a feeling a certain View to a Kill might be one. Maybe that's not guilty. I don't know. It's a bit guilty for me." Oh, that's interesting. Thank you. I don't consider a view. I love A View to a Kill. It's my favorite James Bond film. I don't consider it a guilty pleasure. Maybe I might have I've done before, but now I don't. I'm not at all ashamed of. Well, I guess maybe feeling shame is not. I know that's not what you mean when you say guilty pleasure, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, um, I used to feel that way, but now I feel like if I enjoy a film, it's my pleasure is my I think it's good to feel pleasure. I'm all for feeling pleasure. I love feeling pleasure. So if I can feel pleasure, then I always like to think there's no reason to feel guilty about it. So that's I think where I come from. Again, I don't mean any disrespect to your great question, though. I know what you're talking about, but just a little caveat: I don't quite consider it that way. Um, I, I learned a valuable lesson many years ago, which was I was I just was starting to be active on Facebook, and it was uh, just slowly but surely getting to know a number of people. I'm not so active on Facebook anymore, not for any specific reasons. Just I really wish I had more time to do more things on Facebook, and like I just don't have as much time as I would like. But when I was starting to be active on Facebook, I met someone online, and this person was a film fan, and she very kindly reached out to me, and maybe it was in Criterion or other label related group or something like that. And so we would have conversations, right? And it was really lovely, and I made a post or something. Maybe it's still there about I was disparaging. I was very I didn't mean any harm by it. I didn't mean any disrespect, but now I think about it back on it now, and I think I kind of struck an unfortunate, maybe slightly disrespectful tone about the film, which was called Zombievers. And I have the Blu-ray somewhere on the shelf here, but Zombievers, I was saying, oh, here's Zombievers, ha ha ha, or something like that. Again, nothing. I didn't mean any harm by it. I thought it was just kind of a very innocent type of comment, nothing more, nothing less. But this Facebook friend came to me, and she, very earnest and without any malice, not being angry or upset. She just very, very in a happy tone and in a very earnest way, she said to me, "I love that film. That's such a great film, Zombievers. I remember it's just having such a good time." And at that moment, I felt so bad. I felt really bad, and it taught me this great lesson, which was, um, I have to think more about 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 how I regard cinema in my head, and so I have to be more conscious of the fact that my viewpoint is not like universal, and my way of thinking is not, of course, shared by everyone because it's just me, and who am I? I'm a nobody, right? But the point is that a film will have an effect on someone somewhere, and so and people take that very seriously, because I know from experience that I take that very seriously in my own cinema journey. And so the very least I could do is to try to express that in a way that hopefully will be as respectful to people's cinema journey as I hope. So from that point on, I've tried to be more open-minded than I think I expressed myself at that particular moment. It wasn't my finest hour, that's for sure. But this person was so kind in not making me feel guilty, not and totally understanding, but still expressing to me, "Oh, I really love this film." And so, Zombievers, yes, that taught me a very valuable lesson. And so, from that point on, I don't like to consider things "quote unquote" guilty pleasures. I kind of consider them more as pleasures. And so in that regard, I think of View to I love A View to a Kill. Um, and like this idea of highbrow, lowbrow. I kind of try to get away from that a little bit because um, I understand certain categories that I think are easily attributable to certain types of films. I totally get that, but there, um, all things being equal, I mean, if we think to cinema as being non-quantifiable, of course, one can try to quantify it in terms of a rating or in terms of a grade or something like that. But I could never quantify it in my head, like how many stars or something. It's impossible for me to do so. So in that regard, the pleasure that I get from, say, watching quote unquote a highbrow film, I think is of equal merit, and of the same type of feeling that I get from the pleasure that I get from watching quote unquote a lowbrow film. And I use these quotes very thickly because I don't like to use those phrases anymore. And so I try to resist that type of conversation. Because I try to say, like I don't, for instance, like I don't want to say, oh, I watch a Criterion film and then I watch I don't know, somewhere, I don't look at Criterion, like for instance, I don't look at Criterion quite in that way. In terms of, I just look at it as like it's a source of pleasure, just like other places or labels or other studios or other filmmakers provide a kind of source of pleasure. And I think, especially as I'm getting older, and especially when I realize, I should try to be a little bit healthier. I should try to watch my weight, and I should try, considering my health and stuff, because the older I get, unfortunately, the more I realize the less time I have on this earth. And so, if I think about my limited time, and also if I think too about all the loved ones that I have lost in my life is not filled with sadness or tragedy. I don't want to suggest that at all. But the point is that I do know loved ones who I know that I want to follow their example and uh, try to value my limited time here as much as possible. And if I can do that in a way that, again, recognizes the pleasure of cinema without any type of filter, then that to me is kind of like the peak of my happiness in my cinema journey. Now, that is not to say that I am disparaging anyone who uses those labels or uses those phrases in their no, not at all. So I don't mean to disparage like anyone here who might have that viewpoint. Good for you. If you have that viewpoint, you have the way of your regarding your own cinema journey, more power to you. I'm totally supportive of that. You should do that in a way that fits your comfort zone and comfort level, and comfort level in speaking and talking about cinema as well as regarding it. But again, just from my own experience and the way I view my own cinema journey, I don't usually think of that in those terms anymore. Yeah. Sorry about that. I've totally lost track of what I said. But anyway, A View to a Kill. I'm a big fan of A View. It's my favorite Bond film. Absolutely my favorite Bond film. I love A View to a Kill. I absolutely love A View to a Kill. I love Grace Jones' glasses in A View to a Kill. You know those glasses? I wish I had her glasses. My goodness. I love. Should I try my very poor Grace Jones impression? This is Grace Jones, Mayday, from A View to a Kill. Okay, get on, damn it! That's my Grace Jones from A View to a Kill. All right. Anyway, my dear friend, I hope you have you. Gosh, thanks for reminding me, Jovial. I have to order dark glasses, the Blu-ray. So let me do that after this chat's over.